Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I'm your host, Phil. Guys still alive? I'm still alive. So I guess that's a good start, right? We woke up this morning. Let's take a look at the news. We are going to be diving into today. Is the Bitcoin bottom in? I know I want to believe it. And when I wrote that particular title last night, we were still at 93K or like 92K, and yeah, we're sitting at 89. So I don't know. We're kind of in the range. Is the Bitcoin bottom in? We're gonna take a look at. Don't worry, guys. I got some solid Hopium. We're gonna, one of the guys I don't feature too often here, but maybe I should, because a lot of people seem to like his charts and his Hopium. The Bitcoin power law guy, right? We're gonna take a look at one of his posts. We've also got some Hopium based on a bear trap, right? And we've also got another chart that's indicating to us biggest whale accumulation to date. What? And then a representative from the budget committee buying the dip. And we'll take a look at his Bitcoin purchases because, of course, right? When you look at the sensationalism of it, it's he just owns $2.6 million worth of Bitcoin. But does he? Yeah, I'm going to ruin it all with the truth. But at least we're going to be thinking accurately about it, right? All right, Eternal Paper Bitcoin. You know the deal. NAKA put out their numbers yesterday. We're gonna talk about that for a second. And yeah, some pretty solid news from the company Open. Not the company Open Timestamps. This is a company called Real Simple Proofs that is using Peter Todd's Open Timestamp protocol to provide a higher degree of certainty when it comes to counting votes, right? They're using the Bitcoin blockchain to ensure that data isn't changing, right? That they can verify those results using the Open Timestamps protocol, which leverages Bitcoin's network. So anyways, very cool stuff. We are going to take a look at that. And of course, we've got the Epstein Bitcoin connection that never ends. Another email trail that came out. And yesterday, one of our viewers was Frederic was explaining that he does a comic book. He's got a Bitcoin comic book that is raising funds on Geyser. So we're going to take a look. There's like this nice little intro video from Geyser. We're going to take a look at that and see what his comic book is all about. It looks really cool. And we've already scheduled. Frederic is going to join me next week on Wednesday during the news to talk about his comic book. Anyways, guys, you know the deal. Gonna give a shout out to the Pleb Underground sponsor, and we are gonna be right back to dive into all of these stories. Let's frickin' do it. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right, let's dive right into it. Here we go. Let's just start off with the Bitwise CIO. Let's just start off with his Hopium, right?
Exactly agree with Tom. I think we're nearing a bottom. I look at this as a great buying opportunity for long-term investors. You know, Bitcoin was the first thing to turn over before this broader market pullback. It was sort of the canary in the coal mine, signaling that there was some risk in all sorts of risk on assets. I think it'll be the first thing to bottom, and I agree with Tom. We're getting very close to that point. So I think it's an exciting opportunity, again, for people who are looking out a year or more into the future.
4 years or more. Don't 1 year's not enough. 1 year's not enough. 1 year's probably just enough to get your Hopium up so that you think you're wrecked. I do remember during my first cycle when I was first starting to accumulate Bitcoin. So I accumulated Bitcoin on the way up, right, to the 20K. And I was listening to all the Hopium dealers that were telling me 50K was around the corner and then 100K was around the corner. That's it. This is the cycle. The institutions are here, all that crap. And of course, history is history. And that is not what happened at all. And I remember as we slowly cratered from 20K all the way down to 3,400 and change. Okay, because that's what happened. I remember getting to like below the $6,000 mark, and I remember thinking to myself, and this was after like 2.5 years, right? So if I would have just stuck to this weird 1 year timeline that this guy's talking about, I would have been wrecked. But I remember after like 2 years, I was sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, did I just fall for the biggest scam ever? And it was so perfectly constructed that it fulfilled all of my biases and checked all my boxes that I didn't even realize this. So yeah, just time horizon is very important. Conviction is very important. And learning about how Bitcoin works is very important so that when you listen to these guys, right, it sounds great, makes you happy, but it just, yeah, rolls off your shoulders, you know? Anyways, all right, let's continue along. We've got some more Hopium. All right, from Cosmonaut. BTC Cosmonaut. I like this account. This is without a doubt one of the most dangerous bear traps in Bitcoin history. Plebs are losing the plot and selling to BlackRock, Harvard, UAE, check, because their watch is telling them to. Unfortunately, they will never see that Bitcoin again. Yeah, guys, don't just sell your Bitcoin because a clock told you to. Okay. I know a lot of people that's out there. And if you think about it, right, I've talked about the 4-year cycle, but I'm not dumping my Bitcoin because of some imaginary thing that I'm thinking of, right? I'm paying attention, right? You got to pay attention to the actual to the actual market and the landscape. Like it's not just like, oh, okay, 4-year cycle's over, I'm dumping. And I mean, I've shown this in the past, right? There was some guy that had predicted a bunch of other bull markets in the past. And he was certain that the bull markets, what was it? That we were going to have our new all-time high. I think it was going to be 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, right? Like that we were just going to have this all-time high and then sink off. Well, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. No, but I'm just kidding. He actually missed the all-time high, the 126K mark by like 2 or 3 weeks, because in actuality, it was like at some point in November, right? It's like every 500 days from the halving. Nobody knows anything, guys. This is what I said yesterday. And I don't mind not knowing anything, right? It's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with just understanding that, this is a brand new hybrid asset and we are all watching it. Everybody is watching it, right? Like we just went through a year of price discovery. So interesting stuff. It's good to zoom out. Okay, here we go. The power law, dude, Giovanni. So 2 cycles ago, we didn't have, or at least maybe I didn't know about Giovanni, but we had Plan B. We had Plan B, and we had his ribbon charts and the dots, right? The dots going up, and yeah, now we've got some improvement on this. So what does Giovanni have to say? Are we at the bottom? Are we not zooming out enough? The power law teaches us to think in terms of scale. What does that mean? Bitcoin is a scaling phenomenon. Sounds good. I'm enjoying it. It went through 8 scales, or 100 million fold growth. Factors of a few do not matter for Bitcoin. All right, we're doing the zoom out thing. A change of 20 to 30% is nothing, literally nothing. And look, I don't want to be a Hopium dealer, but I do agree with this. Sorry, like when I saw us dip below 100K, like obviously I don't want to see that, but at the same time, it's like this is not some crazy crisis. The support line at the moment, 46K. We will have to go there even to challenge the power law. Don't tempt Bitcoin. don't tempt it. You don't want to set up a magnet down there. No, I'm kidding. Bitcoin will still scale by a factor of 10 in the next 8 years. I like that. I'm not going to disagree with that. If in the next 5 years, we are not around 500K, then we will worry. We have plenty of time. Nothing fundamentally has changed. Corrections downwards are simply buying opportunities. All right, power law guy. He's not really going over the top. Sounds pretty good to me. I'm good with that. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. You're absolutely right, Roman. Power law guy just wants to sell you on the it's terrible, right? Because a lot of these guys that and of course, right, it's they put all of this work, put all this effort into creating all of these charts. And for the people who think that data aggregation and creating reports is, nothing, it it does take work, right? You do need to have some degree of knowledge to be able to put that together. Of course, there's no question there. However, right? Why not just be forthcoming and explain that that is exactly what you do for a living? Don't just pretend that you love Bitcoin and you love making these charts, right? Like that's not what this is. It's I'm building a business, okay? And the value that I'm adding is that I am going to produce these reports. That's it. It's really not that hard, right? Like, anyways, yeah, exactly. This is exactly what we're going for, Joe. This is what we're doing. This is exactly what we're doing. We're going to some Hopium light. Okay. Anyways, let's continue on because of course, it's not all we have. There's more. I meant to talk about the simple proof stuff too, but for some reason, I feel like maybe I didn't grab the right screenshots. Hey, by the way, is the screen okay today, guys? Because yeah, I figured it out yesterday. It was all these defaults. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyways, sorry guys. Hey, thank you for the feedback. I was looking for my yeah, sorry guys. Before I continue, I'm just gonna change this up real quick so that we can actually show the news. Now, there's nothing like user errors in real time, right? I think so. I saved the link. I just didn't take the screenshot. Anyways. All right, so moving on. Let's do it, guys. The biggest whale accumulation is happening during a sell-off to 89K. And this is kind of funny because we put this post out before we hit 89K. Maybe Crypto Seth knows more than everyone else. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't. But this is looking good, guys. This is looking good. Check out that chart. Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you for the feedback on this. And again, I do apologize for the technological differences, but yeah, I screw up, and it's part of the fun. Okay, so BTC 30-day demand change, permanent hodler addresses and ETFs. Look, in all fairness to this, I have no idea how accurate that data is, right? And of course, if you keep scrolling down in that guy's post, you'll see that, of course, he's selling a service as well. I'm not saying that to discredit him or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's what this is, right? They put this stuff together so they can sell services based on it, and that's fine. Hey, good morning. Bottom appreciator. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Good morning. Oh, thank you. So yeah, I don't know how exact that data is. However, it confirms my bias, right? That we're still in a bull run, that we're going to go higher, and that this isn't the end of it. So I will gladly take. I will gladly take this Hopium. I will gladly take this and appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, right? There's all the narratives are converging, right? We've got people saying that, OG whales are offloading to buy more in the upcoming dips, where, there's also people saying that some people just didn't want to wait the next 4 years. They're done. Others are saying, well, some of these whales have been hodling, since like 2011. I mean, there was one guy, I forget what it was, but it was a few weeks ago at least. The guy who sold or the entity that sold for like $8 billion worth of Bitcoin, people were sitting there and are like, why would you sell it all? Like, so look, you don't know what that person's life is like. You have no idea what it is that their desires are, their goals. You don't know how old they are or anything like that. Like, look, at $8 billion, there's a good possibility that inflation isn't going to catch up to what he's left with. And he's just going to be able to live off of that until he dies. I mean, at $8 billion right now, even though fiat is inflating away, you kind of won the game already. Like, this is one of the things that we've said to a certain extent about, some of these extremely wealthy people that just don't get Bitcoin or don't care. Like, fiat is working for them, even though it's broken, right? They are not feeling the symptoms of the broken money in the way that somebody like me is, or like you, or right, just normal human beings, right? Not the ultra wealthy elite. Those people just don't care. So, anyways, yeah. All right, let's continue. We got more hopium here. Let's continue on. All right. Oh, this is good stuff right here. So, I don't even know if this is hopium at this point. Is it? I don't even think so. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so Representative Brandon Gill just disclosed buying another 300K of Bitcoin. This goes back to an old concept that I heard back in 2017, and I've tried to find information about it. Maybe I made it up. Maybe I'm just completely insane, but I swear I heard this on like a Tales from the Crypt podcast back then or something. That there's a group of people that are named like the fifth pillar, right? And these people are essentially politicians, right? High-ranking representatives and whatnot, people high up in the government that absolutely understand the money is broken, absolutely understand where we're going, and as a result, stack corn. Now, I've never been able to find clips from that podcast. I don't even know what episode that's from. We're talking 7-8 years ago, and my mind is not the most trustworthy all the time. But I am telling you, this to me is very interesting in terms of game theory, right? Because you've got people in the government that completely understand how broken the money is, and yet they still pass the laws and push regulation in that direction, all the while themselves stacking corn. This is the beauty of the game theory, and this is the beauty of exposing incentives. So anyways, just a little bit of a bit more data on his actual purchases, right? So here we go. He's got direct purchases of 100,000 to 250K in BTC. This is from his 300,000 purchase, right? That was executed on October 20th and the 29th. Okay. Then bought an additional between 15,000 and 50K in BlackRock's ETF. So even though I know that, people want to show that, hey, this is all Bitcoin. I mean, okay, at least it's the ETF, right? At least it's the ETF. So they are tasked with actually purchasing and selling Bitcoin, and there is the in-kind redemption. So give it a pass. Give it a pass. But of course, right? Politician or somebody on the House committee or the Finance committee, it's, he's going to get criticized, right? He's going to get criticized. BTC investments have drawn scrutiny for potential conflicts. Critics note the timing of some of the buys aligned with pro-crypto executive actions under President Trump. Oh my gosh, no way. Stop crying. Anybody could have just bought Bitcoin. Okay? These people are just crying for absolutely nothing. So everybody saw the news yesterday, right? If you're paying attention to the treasury companies, Nakamoto or David Bailey's vehicle, NAKA missed the quarterly earnings and files a loss exceeding $80 billion. That is bad. That is definitely not good. The one silver lining, and again, this in no way is saying, yeah, you should buy these shares, this and that. No. What I'm saying is, how I always talk about these businesses figuring out that they need to bolt on a cash or a revenue generating portion to the business. I've been saying this for a while. And interestingly enough, now I got to find I got to find an actual article to confirm it. But from the rumor that I have heard, Nakamoto has already made public the intention to purchase BTC Inc., right? Which is the vehicle for the Bitcoin conference and Bitcoin magazine. So yeah, exactly. Roman. Where is it? Yeah, that's looking great. Not gonna make it. But yeah. So look, at the very least, right? That's a step in the right direction. Very curious, guys. I've been saying this from the beginning. I'm very curious to see which businesses actually survive. Very, very curious. Okay, let's go take a look at some adoption stuff. 89.6 right now. D. It's over. I'm just kidding. Actually think it's over. All right. Sorry, I got this on a whole other screen and everything. But yeah, guys, simple proofs, right? So I got to give a shout out. Congratulations to Carlino. We had him on the show last year after it was after BTC++. That's where I was introduced to him. And this guy is just absolutely full of energy and just totally killing it. Anyways, he introduced simple proofs. Where was it? Initially? It wasn't El Salvador. I think it was, I think he in Guatemala. That's what it was. Okay. So he initially introduced simple proofs in Guatemala, helped the voter system, right? Essentially, because what it does is that it lowers the amount of time by using open timestamps. This is what I remember from this. But essentially what it does is it, rather than a bad actor having, let's say, 8 to 10 hours available with the ballots, right, the votes, and being able to change those numbers, well, now by using open timestamps, instead of having an 8-hour window where somebody could change that data, that window has now been cut down to like 15 minutes. So that's huge, right? That makes it a lot more difficult for a bad actor to attempt to rig the voting, right, or change the direction of the votes. So you got to give congratulations to Simple Proofs, because guess what? They're proud to announce that they are collaborating with El Salvador, and they are bringing real simple proofs to El Salvador and their voting system. So congrats. And guys, open timestamps does not have a shitcoin. It just uses Bitcoin, just uses the Bitcoin blockchain. That's all, right? So, you know, as much as everybody likes to criticize, and even myself, right? He talks about, you know, Peter Todd and his terrible views. I don't disagree with any of that. But this particular thing that he did, this is very cool, and this is very helpful, and this is actually being used without a shitcoin, right? It's Bitcoin use case that's quote unquote not money. However, it is using Bitcoin's network to provide proof. So good stuff. I'll take it, man. I'll take that win. All right. Epstein Bitcoin stuff. Epstein Bitcoin stuff. Let's go. All right. So you guys might be able to see this really well, but my eyes are absolutely horrendous. So I have to put this on a different screen. But essentially, right, this is an email going back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. And they're talking about some stock. And now they're talking about crypto is the currency. Blockchain is the equivalent of Internet 2.0. This is the guy you wanted me to meet. No need. I spent time with this guy. He's kind of a flake. You are being generous. Tried to convince me that he was with the CIA. Fantasist? Maybe he was using his seduction routine. That was the pitch with the Russian girl. So we're just getting bits and pieces, right? Which honestly, in my eyes, of course, kind of makes no sense. But there's a whole story there that we just don't know much about. And I got to tell you, the more stuff that comes out, the unfortunately you realize the more reason why this guy was silenced. Apparently, he had a whole lot of links all over the place and had access to a whole lot of information. It's almost like he was the evidence. And so they were like, we just need to get rid of the evidence. It's like, wait, what ties all of this together? This guy. So we just get rid of the guy, and all of this other stuff just doesn't make sense anymore. And that's where we are. Yeah, that's my tinfoil hat take on that one. Okay. We're going to take a look at Frederick's his superhero Bitcoin comic. And like I said, going to have Frederick on the show next week. He is going to talk to us about it. And I am obviously very curious as to why he went the route of the comic. I always want to know why people chose what they chose, right? Like in terms of Bitcoin, because everybody comes to the space and, like I remember when I first came to the space, I felt like I was pretty useless because I don't write code, right? Even though I am technical and I worked in a technical field my whole life, I am not interested in writing code. That's all, so, but I wanted to contribute and I wanted to stay engaged. And this is what I found. Right. I like talking about Bitcoin. I enjoy talking smack about things I think are stupid. I also appreciate the feedback when people think I'm an idiot because the world is a mirror. Right. So that's good stuff. But yeah, like I think comic books are cool and I appreciate their symbolism in terms of the symbolism of our highest aspirations as humans, right? Because essentially that's what superheroes personify, right? All of the best qualities of what a human can be. Anyways, all right, I'll stop. Let's take a look quickly at this little intro, this little vid that I found. Guys, there's a link in the show notes if you want to contribute to his comic book. It's on Geyser Fund, and the link is in the show notes. Like I said, Frederick's going to be here next Wednesday, but for now, we are going to take a look at this little intro video, give a taste of what the comic book looks like. I did have to turn off the music though, so I do apologize. Didn't want to get dinged for it. But you can see the graphics in this. This is from another podcast, I guess, that he was on, and you can see the graphics for this thing are just absolutely incredible. And here he is working on it. I mean, this is cool stuff. I'm gonna have a lot of questions for you, Frederick. Gonna have a lot of questions for you. Yeah, that's right. I'm here because no one can take my BTC from me. That is exactly right, guys. Censorship resistance. The core principle, separating money from state. Separating money from state, censorship resistant. Government can't fuck with this. Full stop. Anyways, absolutely beautiful graphics, Frederick. I'm super excited to talk about this with you. Yeah, sorry about the music is by used with permission. Yeah, but I don't have his permission though. So and my YouTube might get dinged for it. Either way, I'm really excited for this to come out, and this is really nice. Like this is really well done, honestly. Oh, dude, was that Optimus Prime? Is that like an Optimus Prime version? Bitcoin Optimus Prime. Nice. He's got the drone. Yeah, get ready, Frederick. I'm going to be asking you a bunch of questions all about the symbolism and why you chose those colors and everything. All of that stuff. Hey, there you go. The music by him. Sweet. Anyways, that is going to be next Wednesday, guys. Lots of stuff happening. Okay. So Friday, barring any cancellations, we're going to have Lawrence Lepard. He's going to come here talk to us, obviously, about the big print. But I also have some other questions for him because I follow him on Twitter. So we're going to dive into a bunch of other stuff. Monday, we've got the roundtable. Also, Ulrich either today or tomorrow is dropping he's dropping an original video. So look out for that. And yeah, next Wednesday, Frederick's going to join us to talk about Ratel. I hope I pronounced it right, and I apologize if I didn't. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of the day. Hopefully, Bitcoin is not dead, and if it is, long live Bitcoin. Catch you all tomorrow. Take it easy, guys.